Hello, my name is Daniel Stillwell and I'm the editor of the IFTA e-newsletter, and we have with us today
Elisabet Wollse from
Wollse.
Sweden.
Wollse, okay.
Wollse.
Wollse.
Wollse, yeah.
And so we are here in Japan, and we're going to learn a little bit more about Elisabet and what her work is in the presentation she just finished giving. So welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So the first question I like to ask everyone is, what kind of mental health practitioner do you identify as, and what does that look like in your context in Sweden?
Okay. I'm almost retired now. I'm 70, but I have been a clinician, a family therapist, child psychologist, and supervisor, and teacher, and researcher.
Yeah.
And yeah. So what I identify, I think it is most teaching and supervision, and to develop formats or approaches in supervision and teaching is what I'm doing. Yeah.
What were you originally trained in?
Psychologist.
Psychologist.
Yeah, in the mid-70s.
And at what point did you add the systemic psychotherapy relational work?
But actually, I always worked with context, even though when the psychodynamic models and so on were on, I used to see children with their parents, of course, and so the first course was in '79. A family therapy course, and then when I come back to Sweden, there weren't many courses, so we had to arrange, have some people to be teachers, and so we picked from everywhere. Yeah.
And that's a common theme, especially depending on which countries. Some of them had more robust communities, and some had zero.
Yeah, but this was when I came back from the States. That was 1980, and that's what we didn't have.
Right.
So much. Maybe they had somewhere in the south, but in Stockholm, we have to.
Okay. Well, you're not here just to look pretty and talk to us, but also to tell us about the work that you are doing. So tell us about the presentation, the life staging, and maybe put it in context of your career.
Yeah, that's what But life staging, for me, it has been very important with isomorphy from sort of core values and the choice of method.
And some people may not be familiar with isomorphism. Parallel process is another term that some people use.
Or
it's a
congruency, or something that I'm both interested in philosophy and I'm a hands-on person.
Nice.
So I need to have this connect. So to show in my practice. So of course, as a child psychologist, it was a lot of playful times and also very rough times. But in the 70s, I used the sand tray, and I think that's gone today almost.
Some play therapists still use it, but you're right. It's not in vogue.
No, it has changed the. And of course the pictures and drawings and So that has affected me when I, some 25 years ago, as a supervisor, was kind of very tired of talking and listening.
Right.
In the paradigm of, do I know what happened, then I know how. So people are talking about the case. And it could be endless, not PowerPoint, but the flip charts full of, it started and then one day I just said, tuck that in. And let's sit and talk. And let's try out supervision in the dark. What do you say? How much information do we need to know? So, and that is the interest of me in philosophy and in research. In my research work, I came across something called the drug metaphor. That's so interesting.
Okay.
That most support or help business is organized from a drug metaphor. I go to you with my problems, and you sort of make me a drink. No, you make a drink, and you said, or I can take it, or I can speed it up. Yes, and then I wasn't, So I wanted to. I met Michael White in 1988. And I wanted through the narrative, both the research and the practice of narrative ways of being, to thinking of the thin inscriptions we have about people and phenomena, and how can we enter into language and richer storytelling, and also connect it to what we honor or the values and the intentions of people's life. And I was very fond of the idea of the normative power, how it limit us and so on. So and the cultures, the professional cultures in the country and the bigger frame of the culture. So it's like it all melted down to this supervision idea that I'm also a painter and designer. So it melted down to that thinking at our profession as we are artists. And when you do that, something is happening, because we're not the same. You can't be 10 Picassos. So then it was to activate your skills, your experience, your special talent, and also the metaphor for the artist is somebody that is brave, improvising, curious, learn from others, but always okay to rub it all out, to start over again, because you have to. That's the process. It's a never-ending process. So I was thinking of, and that's what I'm writing about, thinking of profession as an artistic profession, and then we can liberate a lot of things. And then I have also invented the permission box.
Okay.
Yes, because people ask me all the time, can I do that?
Right.
And then I say, hold, I'll check it. And of course that's a metaphor too, and that is about challenging the normative power. So live staging have developed through the last 20-25 years, when it was it starts off with no verbal information.
Right.
So I don't know, and my position is so different now, not being in the drug metaphor, not being the expert. My expertise is keeping the safe place, set the table for people to activate and get richer in a structure where you can co-create dynamic pictures from a multi-perspective, an organic, sceneries and things like that. So, and I don't know, I don't have to know, I don't have to understand, and I don't want anything with people. And that is good. So it is being not in the drug metaphor.
You don't come in with an agenda.
No.
Okay. Very good.
No. I think that I have another model or so called the 5 questions. And that is about skillfulness is about to understanding what you have there to do or be. So when you do live staging, or if you apply this approach, you will focus on the vision, the seeing, because you see the pictures in the scenes, the people moving and so on. And by that you train your ability to read situations. And then you cannot have a lot in your head, or because and it makes you also secure in a way, because as it's always connecting to your core values.
It sounds like a combination of postmodern therapy and mindfulness to some extent.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yes, but so and I was in psychodrama also with multiple protagonists, but I found that that's more like therapy. So I wanted to develop something that was okay at work, because I know from the 70s people was very scared of supervision, and things had happened, this what do you call it, they were, that kind of
very aggressive and
directive. It could be, and people were so scared. So I wanted a safe place, the place where you can grow, but not the way that I want you to grow, but I can put the space for it and the structure. So it is very structured, but only to keep the safe place and have the people to be more about themselves. So it goes very fast, like they said. Instead of telling a case, it goes like that. And
Right.
yes, we did a profound staging in 20 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well, and so often when that initial parameter of safety, of respect, of dignity is part of that, people are more likely to go deep more quickly because you don't have to tease it out.
No, and you cannot do right and you cannot do wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot do right because you don't know who you are. You don't know who's in the scene. That is, and that's every time I demonstrate this, people say, "Shall I don't know anything?" No, and I don't know. No, and I put myself in the same position all the time. I don't know either, and I don't have to know.
Okay.
And I don't have to. So it's the stager who holds the pen,
Right.
and it is. Not always you get a solution or something, but it could be that you feel like this stage said, I feel a fluffiness,
Right.
and I just and then I take from I left the reflections, so I go into resonance, and that's a way for the others in the room to give something to the stager. So when I was in the scene or when I was watching your picture, I resonated with being a mother, or I resonated with being a profession that couldn't help. Or, so and I'm just sitting there and holding, so we don't get into this reflective or psychological things, but more into embodied experience. So
well, and I feel like a lot of people have exposure to some of that as a therapeutic experience, but not as a supervisory one. And so I hope that people watching this, hear this, maybe look you up, and find out a little bit more about how they can enhance and enrich their supervision through techniques and processes like what you're talking about.
Yeah, everyone can do it. And also, the idea about art is you do it your way. But it's a good structure to be in the narrative language, which I learned a lot when I did narrative research.
Of course,
you listen to different kinds of language, and the language is it's such a big theme. And keep in small sentences, but still it's very rich, and it goes like that.
Okay.
It just makes sense. And also you put yourself in the picture, which is also to see yourself in the system. Someone else, and then the one who they don't know who they are. It could be a resonance also to hear the person that I don't know what I'm going to do,
Right.
and that feels good. I don't know either.
Yeah.
So
very validating.
it's very hard to explain this, and but like they say, it's magic. That's what's happening. They co-create pieces of art. It's beautiful. It's so much beauty in it. And we can always get the voice of the child, even small babies.
Yeah.
Because we can make stages from many systems, like the child and the social workers or the clinic there and the parents in some other country. So we see how systems coexist and what they do to each other.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of a sneak peek or an overview of some of these ideas and the work that you've been giving and birth to for so long. I want to end with something a little bit fun. We like to humanize all of the people. It's not just names and books and research articles. Tell us a little bit about something about you personally or professionally that's just interesting.
Oh, that's just interesting. I think I'm a world traveler.
Okay.
Always was, yes. So I've been traveling, and I still love to see. I'm interested in cultures, and that's why I choose this narrative path. But I think also connecting. I'm thinking in connections all the time. Connection is solution. People people suffer more from a lack of connection than the lack of solution. So connection is so connecting, and I live in Stockholm. I'm 70. You just turned 70.
Yeah.
Congrats. And I was brought up with a mother who was very playful and also opened doors to people who were different kinds of,
Cultures and connections.
And then I have a father who was a judge, and he was also very much into helping. Sometimes he didn't even take money for helping people, the little people. I don't like that inscription, but you know what I mean. To fight against. So he was a skilled judge, and so he became a lawyer when he got retired and helped people. So I think and we own a house, me and my siblings. So we cooperate.
Okay.
The home up in the north together, where my mother were born and so on. And so family systems and cooperation and so, but we could be like 20. So 20, 25 people up there at the same time in different generations. So, and that continues all the time. And our kids will go on. So I think this family therapy is not, it is quite obvious where it comes from.
It's not just an idea, you've lived it.
I've lived it. Parties and conflicts.
Well,
yes, thank
Elisabet Wollse.
Yes,
okay.
Whatever.
Close,
yes,
close.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. And
Can I ask you one thing first? What was there something that resonated to you?
Oh, today.
Yes, in the interview. You were
the thing that connected with me in my own work, in my own life, it's the idea of Harley and Anderson collaborative language systems.
Yes, I know.
That idea that we come in with everything, but we assume nothing. And when we engage that conversation with someone, we might pull something out of our backpack and say, does this work for this setting? And if it does, then it becomes that, like you said, that co-created artistic moment. And I know that I've done that with clients. I know that I do that in my own life. But I don't always do it with supervision, just because in the States, supervision has certain rules and limitations sometimes. But I like including some of this maybe as an add-on to either, especially if there's a 2-hour session where you've got a little bit more time to work with.
Yes.
You can kind of give life to some of these things in different ways.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well,
thank you. Yeah.
It's great with resonance. I would like to know more about you.
But we have to end.
No, I know, but we have to where you work and how you work and so on. But,
okay.
But we have done this.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and we'll hopefully join the rest of the conference.
Yes. It's a great conference. Thank you.